care what anyone says, you've worked hard enough.
Okay, do you ever feel like you work really, really hard and you don't get what you want, but then like someone right next to you is like working way less than you and then they get what you want and you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, what's up with that?
Let me guess, you probably spent all of 2024 juggling work or school, with a side hustle, trying to make some extra money. You've been working on yourself, being consistent in the gym, reading self-improvement books, listening to self-improvement podcasts. You've tried meditation, you've been cutting down your screen time. You've done everything, but there's still something missing.
You ever had a gut feeling that maybe you were meant for more, but you weren't really sure what the next best steps were to achieve it?
In 2025, it's not enough to be hardworking and driven to guarantee success, because that's pretty much everyone nowadays. To truly differentiate yourself and reap the rewards of all your hard work, you need to overcome self-sabotage. You're learning so much, but you still haven't had that breakthrough or that "this changed my life" moment. You're working towards a goal and you're making progress, you're being patient, but it still seems miles away. And you're asking yourself, is there something I'm doing wrong? There are 5 forms of self-sabotage that hold back the hardest working, most aspirational people from reaching their full potential. If this sounds like you might be in a very unique position where you don't actually need to do more to achieve your goals, you actually need to do less. Hey, if you're new, I'm Christina and I make videos for people who are feeling lonely. If you're a people pleaser, overachiever, overthinker, over anythinger, then you're in the right place. It's that very annoying, very repetitive time of year again where, first of all, you hear the same Christmas song over and over again and you try to like act like it's not driving you insane and really low key, like you literally just cannot take another "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey. But then it's also that time of year where some people are already on the New Year, New Me hype, and you're starting to see on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, like all these videos about how to transform your life and how to get ahead before 2025 even starts and all this sort of stuff. I am kind of over doing more to become more. There are certain types of people that are already really hardworking, already really disciplined, already really driven, already really ambitious. Like you can push yourself even more to maximize how much work you're doing and how much work you're putting out. But I don't even think that's the most efficient use of your energy. There's a lot of people where you could actually achieve more by doing less, and it's all down to breaking some of the bad habits you have when it comes to self-sabotage. The first form of self-sabotage that needs to stop imminently is undervaluing the work you produce. Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever made something or produced something, and someone tries to give you a compliment, and your first thing to say is like, "Oh, no, it's not even that good." Or, "Oh, no, it only took me like 5 minutes. Oh, this, like my other one was way better. This one is nowhere near as good as my last one." A lot of very accomplished people are very quick to point out their flaws before anyone else will. It's almost like we have this habit of like, let me point out all the bad things and let me like downplay what I've achieved before anyone else has the chance to. And this is a form of self-sabotage. This isn't being humble. I don't want you to think like, "Oh no, because I don't want to brag about myself. I don't want to seem like I'm too important or too impressive. Like I don't want to seem like that way. Like that's why I'm downplaying it." This is self-sabotage though. I think it's so important to realize when you are the person that normally works so hard to get things, you think, "Oh, I'm going to achieve when I work hard. When I work harder, I'll achieve." There are people more underqualified, underskilled, younger or older, less impressive, less acclaimed, less achievements, less accomplishments than you that are achieving things not because they need to work, but because they believe in themselves. Imagine this. Imagine I told you you're about to have a surgery. It's a really important surgery you need to have for like your health. And the surgeon walks in the room. The surgeon said, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. I'm the surgeon. I'm going to be doing your procedures today. Just need you to sign this consent form. Here's a pen. I've done this procedure so many times. You know, I do make a few mistakes now and again. And, you know, I'm not doing my best this week. Like, this isn't my best work. But don't worry. I'm probably going to do my best work maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Like, don't worry about it. I've done this procedure many times. Just did one hour ago. I don't think I did the best job on that one. I'll do better this time, though. Like, you're going to be a much better patient. I'm going to do my best work on you this evening. Here's a pen. Are you ready to sign?" Would you be going ahead with that surgery? They have the qualifications, they've got their degree, they've got their certificate, they've passed all the modules, all the exams, they're qualified, they're very qualified, but they are doubting themselves. A huge chunk of you getting closer to your goal, seeing progress towards your goal, is not working harder. I really want this to come home to the hardworking, burnout, perfectionist sort of people. You don't need to stress yourself into working so much harder. You need to believe in yourself. Thankfully, believing in yourself is easier than you think. Working hard, working 12, 13-hour days, working on the weekends, working your evenings, that's really hard. That's a lot of sacrifice. Believing in yourself is just a mindset shift. There's a version of you have in your head, the super impressive, like the dream version of you, the best version of you. You see that person as valuable. Have you noticed that? You don't see yourself quite as valuable yet, but you see that version, oh my God, totally valuable, totally amazing, totally complete, whole, valuable, amazing person. But me, not just yet, not ready. The gap closes between you and this person, not the more achievements you get, but the more you see yourself as, I am valuable already. I am complete. I am whole. I am amazing. I back myself. Another form of self-sabotage I think a lot of hardworking, aspirational people have is sometimes your goals aren't actually aligned with your values. Essentially, are your head and your heart facing in the right direction? It's very easy for you to write down a goal. I want to be in the best law firm in the world and make 6 figures, and I'm working in New York City. Your goals kind of act as a destination to where you want to go, but I like to think of your values as the internal compass that kind of like directs where you go from the inside. A lot of people think if you have a goal, you write it down, you take the steps to get there, then it's kind of like, it's an easy, simple process. Repeat the steps, be consistent, show up every day, you'll get to the goal. But actually, if your goal is headed north, but your values are actually skewed a little bit east, it's going to take you slightly longer to get to your goal. It would be slightly easier though if your goals and your values were both headed north, if they were both headed in the right direction. This is even more difficult. Say your goal is to head north, but your values are actually headed south. That is completely in the opposite direction. This is someone who probably feels exhausted all the time. No matter what they do, nothing works. Recently, I was at a Tony Robbins event. It's kind of like this motivational speaking, like seminar event. He shared such amazing advice on this specific topic. He spoke about values and goals and stuff, and how you need to make sure that your goals and your values are aligned to make sure that achieving your goal is like a seamless process rather than one that has a lot of resistance. He spoke about 6 of the really common goals that a lot of people have. In particular, I want to talk about one of them, which is certainty, which I know a lot of perfectionist, hardworking, driven people will have as like a common goal for them. If you have certainty as one of your values, you need certainty and assurance that things are going to be safe, things are going to be okay. If you have this value, this is your internal compass. This is telling you to go north, to go east, to go south, to go west. A classic one which he spoke about at the seminar was people that are really ambitious and want to achieve a lot of things. They want a lot of success. They want a certain lifestyle, a certain house, certain car. But say your biggest value is certainty and like you just need to be safe. Like a big thing driving all of your decisions is safety and being secure. You aren't going to take many risks. You aren't going to want challenge. You don't want things to go wrong. You don't want all your money to run out, and you don't want to get fired from your job. You don't want to be unemployed. You don't want to be homeless. Like you don't want all of these things. You're going to avoid so many risks, so many challenges. This can be one of the things that gets in the way of you achieving your goals. I have definitely been that person that whenever I've been sad or things haven't gone well, I don't have people to hang out with and I'm kind of like lonely on the weekend, I'll just distract myself with work. Like I'll find something to be busy about or find something to be busy and preoccupied with, and I'll just bury myself in that. Give this video a thumbs up if you're the same or you've ever had that too. But something huge that I learned at that Tony Robbins event is that emotions are signaled. If you're tired, that's a signal that you probably need to have some rest. If you're hungry, you probably need to eat. Just like those physical sensations of tired, hunger, unhappy, they're all signals of something that you should be doing or something to take notice of. If you're anxious, that's also a signal. It's a signal that you feel threatened by your environment or who you're around, the person you're with. If you're frustrated, it's a signal that like someone's just not meeting your standards. Someone's let you down again. Someone's not doing the things that they should be doing. If you're overwhelmed, it's a signal that you have a lot on your plate. You probably need to de-stress, like offload, open up the tap, let some of the pressure off. Emotions are signals. Just like if you're hungry or you're tired, if you're upset or angry or frustrated or guilty, it's there to tell you something. But the only way that you'll know is if you listen to it and if you don't suppress it. You don't distract yourself. You don't make yourself busy. I have had to learn the hard way over the years that what you hide owns you. If you hide a problem that makes you feel super guilty or super unhappy, super upset, that problem has so much power over you. A classic example for me was when I was in med school in my 3rd year. I was like halfway through. I'd just done some exams. I had worked my absolute arse off for these exams. I'd literally given my everything. Like, as in, you know that moment when you finish an exam and you're like, oh, finally, I can relax. Like, the level of weight lifted off your shoulders. I mean, kind of a weight lifted because then you have to wait for the results. You're still a bit stressed. Anyway, I'd given my everything. I'd worked so hard. I remember I was sat with a guy next to me. I'll never forget this day. I sat with the guy next to me to open the results. We were on placement. We had like a lunch break and we were like, oh, the results are out. Let's check. Well, he said that because I kind of wanted to wait till I got home and was on my own. I didn't really want to check next to someone else. He checks his. He's like, oh, yes, passed. I got this result. I got 70-something%. Mine's still loading. Like, I had an Android back then. And I open it up. I don't even see what number I got. I just saw the red and I was like, yep, I've failed. I checked both of the exams and I'd failed both. And I literally had never felt more like just deflated and underwhelmed. Part of me was scared. I think the reason I worked so hard was because I was so terrified of failing. Like, going back to my values, like certainty, fear of failure, fear of like anything going wrong, fear of things going badly, risks, like that was just something I was so scared of. So I was like, I need to pass these exams. So I worked so hard. And then to know that it didn't even work, like I basically gave up. Because of how much this meant and because it still hadn't paid off, this was something that I was so like, not even just embarrassed, but like I had so much shame around this moment. Like I felt like literally a failure. Like I'd failed my exams and I was like, oh, I'm a failure as well then. Like I have nothing to offer. If I get kicked out on the next exams, because the rule was at med school, if you fail the end of year exam, you get kicked out. And that was the one I had coming up. So I was like, I have to pass these next ones. I was like, I'm such an embarrassment. I literally have no value. I'm the most stupid one out of all my friends because all my friends had passed. Because of how big this was, I literally didn't tell anyone for so long. Like I can't even remember how long it took me to open up to someone. I hid this problem for so long because I was so scared of what people would think and what they would say about me. Instead, I just distracted myself with work. And a huge thing for me at the time was like, how can I even work harder than that? I couldn't work harder than that. Like that was my all. That was the hardest working Christina I've ever known ever. And she still failed. And you know what? Now that I'm saying it now, it does, a huge thing was that I was doubting myself. Like back to my main point of like undervaluing your work and undervaluing your effort. I was that surgeon that was like qualified, hardworking, but was like, I kind of know how to do it. I kind of do, I kind of don't. That was me. When I hit this problem, that problem owned me. The failure owned me. I wasn't owning the failure. I wasn't owning it and being like, this absolutely sucks. Like, this is awful. I failed, but I'm gonna take a moment to just relax after all the hard work I've put in. I'm gonna relax, pick myself back up and see where I can go from here. Instead, I became so small. I made myself so small in order to like cope really because it felt like the failure was so big and I was so small. I'm saying all this to say this was self-sabotage because ignoring the failure didn't make it any smaller. It actually made it bigger. Whatever you hide owns you in the sense that it has so much power over you. It has so much control. You'll do anything not to bring up the topic, not to bring up the issue, not to bring up the problem. If that's the case, the thing owns you. It has power over you. You don't have power over it. This is also a really big one if you're someone that feels that you lack connection with other people and you feel like you have acquaintances and people that you know, but you don't have any real close friends. I'm not saying to trauma dump, but I'm saying like opening up and just testing the waters, briefly mentioning the problem or the issue, bringing it up to someone you can trust and seeing whether or not they actually respond in the way that you like, because maybe this could be actually a stronger friendship or a stronger bond than what it currently is now. Friendships don't become deep and really strong just from sharing lots of positive, amazing moments together or lots of small talk moments together. Like Friendships become really strong, and you know you can trust people when you go through a hard time and you both come out of it on the other side stronger. On that note, I'm planning to make a community actually of people who all feel the same. Like, I'm really planning to make a community of like-minded people. If you're interested, join the waitlist in my description. Chances are if you're watching and you've made it this far into the video, then I know you are a few things: very hardworking, probably very ambitious. You've survived some very tough times. You want to achieve and get a lot out of life, but you feel like there's a few things holding you back. Another form of self-sabotage that I think might be helpful that I've learned recently is that you might not be acknowledging your progress. Some of us that are really perfectionists and have high standards for ourselves seems to think the only progress that's valuable actually, the only progress worth acknowledging is these huge leaps that we have, huge monumental jumps in performance or our academics, our grades, our finances. Like, unless there's a huge leap, it's not even progress. It's not that deep. It's not good enough. It's not impressive. This was something that came to me when I read an old letter I wrote to myself a year ago. I do these things on this website called Future Me, where you essentially write a letter to yourself. You can write whatever you want. You can just talk about your cat. You can talk about your life. I tend to just talk like a bit about how life is going, what I'm doing, right then and there. And then I try to talk about what I hope I'm doing in a year's time. And then I send it to myself in a year. And I read one of those recently, and it literally just brought home the concept of like, Christina, you need to acknowledge how far you've come. You need to acknowledge your progress if you ever want to feel like you're making progress. Because the harsh truth, you can stack up more and more achievements and think, oh, but yeah, next promotion. And like the next bonus I get, if I get this in my bonus, if I get 10K, if I get 20K, then I'll feel way more better about myself. Then I'll feel like I'm really a good employee. Then I feel like I have a good shot at getting a promotion. It's kind of like you're writing a contract with yourself on, these are the conditions I need. These are the criteria that needs to be met for me to feel self-belief and confident and feeling like I'm good enough. When actually there are some people, like I said way at the beginning, that are underqualified and underskilled. They're younger or they're older. Like, they're not as qualified as you. They just don't have these conditions on themselves. It's one of the reasons why I truly think that success is a skill and it's not an act. It's not something that you kind of obtain in an instant. It's not like a lottery win moment, or it's not your promotion day. It's not your graduation day. Like, it's not the day you hit 100,000 subscribers. Like, it's really not that. It's really a skill of like, I believe I'm impressive. I believe I'm valuable as I am. I believe I'm doing a good job in my job. I feel like my work is good. Please don't write that contract with yourself where you say, I'm only going to feel better when I fill in the blank. When it comes to your progress, don't write on your contract that I'll only feel like I'm making progress when I have these huge leaps, when I go from making 30,000 to 40,000, when I go from 1,000 followers to 5,000 followers. On your success contract, maybe that's a good way to think about it. We all have a success contract. We all have our own success contract. It all looks different. My one back in the day used to have so many different criteria. I feel like my success contract would have been like 20 pages long. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to feel this and feel that and speak to this person and go out with this guy. Then, okay, yeah, I'm impressive. I'm doing a good job. I'm valuable. I'm successful. Whereas other people, the people that you kind of look at, like, how have you achieved so much and you're so young? Or how did you do all of that in such a short space of time? I have a feeling their success contract is a lot shorter. They do not have requirements and conditions on how much they have to achieve to feel good about themselves. They'll feel good about themselves, not with huge leaps, but with minor little improvements. They have a small win every day and they feel on top of the moon about it. Like, they are so proud of themselves. Essentially, their measure of success is a lot more internal. And for a lot of you, maybe it's more external. Maybe that's a little bit of like homework. If you had to write out your current success contract, I will only feel successful when, what would you write out right now? And then maybe you can write out like a second one, like a part 2, like your new success contract, knowing that success is a skill. What would be the things that you would say to yourself and the way that you would act, the way that you would show up? I genuinely love reading your comments. Please do comment down below. It's my favorite thing to do on the weekends, like read all the comments. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. And I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.